Karen Newman, and this is the Saturday Human Colony 𝗕𝗚𝗚𝗦 webinar. It is Saturday, the 16th of May, 2020, and we'd like to welcome Jim Charles to the webinar. Welcome, Jim.
Hello,
how are you doing?
I hope everybody's doing well today.
I think so. I think so. So let me tell you who we have in the room. One moment, I have the video playing in my ear. Okay, we have Alan, Angie, Barbara, Kathy, Christina, Daniel, Ian, Kate, Riwka, Safira, Sheer, and Stephanie today. And then we've got people on YouTube as well. And Don is going to be, did I put Don? Did I say Don? Anyway, Don's here and he's going to be watching the YouTube. So we'll have questions from there. We have Sarah in the chat. She says hello. So welcome.
Welcome, everybody.
Do you have an announcement about any classes coming up? Or
we're not sure about what's going to happen with the workshop yet, but at this point, we're still looking to see who's interested in it. It's in August, and we don't know if things will be open by then or not, or whatever. But let us know if you're at least interested, so we know what kind of provisions we should be looking at for the future. So right now, I'm not going to do an in-depth conversation about the workshop, but just let us know if you're interested in it. That's what we want to know first.
I just want to add to that. I just want to add that
ahead, Angie.
If you are interested, send an email to workshop@𝗕𝗚𝗚𝗦𝗜𝗡𝗦. I'm keeping track of who is interested. If we get the okay, or Jim and I decide, well, Jim decides, I'm the email lady. If Jim decides that we will just end up doing an online class, then I've got all the interested parties already. So whether we actually have the workshop in person, or whether we choose to do just like an online gathering, let me know. Again, workshop@𝗕𝗚𝗚𝗦𝗜𝗡𝗦, and then that way we've at least got a list. Thanks, everybody.
Yeah. I'm not really looking to do an online one because it's just so less personal and less interactive in many ways. So hopefully we'll be able to do the real one in person, face to face, with all the emotions and all the information that's necessary, because at a real workshop, you interact with one another, you make new friends, you feel a part of, you enjoy the energy of, and it's very, very different than online. So online makes it a little colder to me. So I'm not really looking forward to doing an online one, but I am looking forward to doing one face-to-face in person with all those that are willing to come. So, but at this point, we're not going to be unsafe. We're going to follow all the rules and do what's necessary to maintain safety. So just to let you know that. So if it's just so much more beautiful in person, and you get to meet more people and you get to interact, it's just much more amazing. So much love to you all, and just let us know if you're wanting to come.
Okay, great, perfect. So we can start with some blessings. We have, first up, we have Barbara. Go ahead, Barbara. If you want to turn on your camera, hon.
Kakashika shokosho kikata hiaka kitikiata kawaki kapakiaka tikisi kiiaka kawa kataki kikiapa katakoshuakiaka konokoaka pakatakiato kikisi ashokoshua kapata kisitikiata kopataka tiato tokutu tiata pataka tia.
There's much happening now, but you have opportunities to be to yourself and learn what it is that you are to do in a greater way. Keep in mind that all of us are together in this. The energies are growing again with those of you that are seeking true enlightenment. You shall find it. But if you speak that you are enlightened, then you are not. Remember this, that enlightenment will show and not be spoken, except by others.
Very nice. Okay, Riwka. Go ahead, Riwka.
Ashigala uga shamana katia ukulumana ya kachala kuchu ushamana kala eteke wana iyeya halashiga ucha kanchikele ukutumana chaka. Namaste.
New energies are coming in all the time, and there are those that are going out as well. But remember this, the energy of God never changes or never shifts. He is with you always and completely with every word that you say, he hears. And he knows who you are, and he has counted every hair on your head.
Angie.
Ura utu ar ik at urotu ash. Uri iakak in onok odas. Rik ayat kut ud uriasakat isha shono od kari. Mo arakata ani at show. Moro oka yara.
Who are you, my children? Identify yourselves in the light. Remember to stand there and let yourself be counted as the ones that are showing and being examples to others. Remember, no one can see you if you're hiding. No one can feel the energy of God if you withhold it. So uncover your light and let it shine.
Thank you. And last is Kathy. Go ahead, Kathy.
Pretishala makosa tutorka, makala hantakuru, shalisi alu tasantedelu, shonono madisi alun, mapeno hokosa, ulana hashiada tuku, tishiano alantiguanum, aliantu shonosapeno, pishiano mamano kosi, alante madu, hoshapano manato kosi, shalamisi predamanot, kokona halianto alisi alu, matamara hakuru madu.
There will be those that turn away because they feel like they are wise enough. There will be those that will turn away because they have enough information. There will be those that turn away because they think that preaching is not their thing. But let me tell you, my children, that all these things that you proclaim are not so. Build yourself up and let all the things that are true resound within you, because darkness is waiting to take hold at the very next step that you do wrong.
Thank you. And then Alan would like to do a blessing too. Go ahead, Alan.
We are here to let you know there is forgiveness for all and enlightenment for everyone. You must be aware that these things are available to you. Do not wallow in the sorrow or the sadness, but rise up above it so that you may be counted and so that the light may engulf this planet.
Thank you. That was all the blessings.
Yes.
Should we go through who the requests are? Or
yes, please.
Yeah, okay. We have Grindel. We had, let me find my list. Let me wait 1 second. We had Grindel, we had Elijah, we had Anubis, Jerry Garcia, St. Peter, someone that knows about the earthquakes, We had someone wanted an oak tree. Let's see, who else was there? Oh,
An
a
oak
sengi,
tree? Did you
an
say
oak tree.
Okay.
I did. Yeah, sengi or 𝗕𝗘𝗜𝗡𝗦𝗧𝗜𝗢 to talk about hybrids. And I
Gaia.
think that was it.
Gaia.
Gaia. Oh, my goodness. And Gaia. Not last or not least, but definitely Gaia.
All right, very good.
Okay.
Let me do a slight meditation or a small meditation, and I will bring whoever is coming through today, at least the first one. I know there's more than one. So
Okay, great.
have a wonderful session, everyone. Thank you for being here, and thank you for opening your hearts to whoever is coming. Thank you.
You have water and everything with you? You're ready? You're good to go?
Yes, I have water, and I have an extra water just in case Grindel comes through.
Okay, good. All right.
I don't know who's coming through, so I prepare ahead. Right. Greetings, I am Elijah. I am here to talk about the world that you live in today and about how to deal with it. Because today, there's noise, even in the homes. There is great busyness of mind. There is great distractions within your world and within your life. This is a time when there may be opportunities to get away from the noise, the distractions, and the busyness. If you busy yourself constantly, how are you to meditate? Oh, but there's things that need done, of course, and they will get done. But are they more important than your connection to God? Are they more important than becoming wise? Are they more important than becoming enlightened? Some of you may say that you have already reached some of these areas, and you have, but there's levels of wisdom and levels of enlightenment and levels of understanding and compassion. What level are you on? Have you been distracted? Have you let everything be busy around you and let the sounds of the earth and sounds of the universe step away from you? I'm not talking about people talking. I'm talking about the sounds that the planets make and the sounds that are music to the firmament that is around you. Become part of that. Become part of the vibration that is eternity. God wants your wisdom to grow, your understanding to grow, and you to reach out into the world eventually. But this is a time of growth. Many of you have children, and so the busyness with the children may be there, but take time while they are playing or at rest to find a quiet place, to find time with God, to find a place to reach for higher versions of yourself. Enlightenment doesn't come easy. And if you proclaim enlightenment and people around you do not feel it when you walk in the room, then this is just words. Enlightenment is a feeling, is a knowing, is an understanding, is a place in God that brings you to a different level of human understanding. It makes you silent when there's a lot of talk. because you are listening. It makes you silent when there's a lot of anguish, for you are praying. It makes you silent during arguments with others until you know what to say that God would ordain. It brings you to a place of understanding where you were never before. I am telling you this, my brothers and sisters, because this is the time to go into those deeper thoughts. You understand what I mean. They would try to stop me from speaking, but it will not work. Do what you will to stop me, but I will not stop, because God has ordained what I have to say. You, my brothers and sisters, are ready to be deeper, to be of a greater purpose, to shine in a greater light, to bring your music into the realms of the kirtan. Some of you may not know what I speak of. And if you do not know, then pray that your understanding be opened. Pray that there are things in this realm that can help you to understand yourself. All of your beliefs are centered on God, I would hope, and that you would take away the anger from your system and the judgment away from yourself. Your opinion does not matter sometimes. Your opinion can be harsh and judgmental. But then again, it can be enlightening as well. Bring your opinion into that realm of enlightenment, into that realm of beauty, into that realm where it feeds everyone. If there is dissension, you are not enlightened, if that is what you cause. If there are arguments, there is no enlightenment, if that is what you cause. If you are grieved, that can be enlightened at times, depending on what you're grieving on. If it's about something selfish, then it's not enlightened. But if it's about getting closer to God and not being able to, then perhaps it is enlightened. You must know and understand the words which I speak, and some of these are just passing over, which is fine for now. But rid yourself of this judgment of one another and yourself. There is too much of it. This world that you live in, it judges everything at every moment. There is no getting around judgment in every second of the day. You're judging everyone around you and the people that are in it and how good of job they're doing. How good is this? How good is that? You need to be praying for it and not judging it. For when you open your mouth to give that judgment, it brings you down. You are no better than the judgments that you make. You are being judged as you judge. Whatever you send out in a judgmental fashion will come back to you. Whatever you send out in judgment, people will see and know that you are not enlightened. The negativity that you share with others will be noticed. So therefore, rid yourself as much of it as you can, and be silent in those times when you feel that you should scream, because you take it to God and not to another human. Some of you will discuss things, which is fine. If it is helpful to discuss things one with another, it is fine and wise to get others' opinions. That is fine. But remember, God in all of this. Remember that He is the one that teaches, and He is the one that teaches through you. So as you speak one to another, be the teacher from God, and not the teacher that would be untruthful or deceptive or unknowing even. But if you do not know, you must say so. Do not pretend to know when you do not. I could go on and on with these lessons today. They are deep and they are wide. But today I will answer some questions. I will answer some questions.
Sure. Okay, let me just see if anyone would like to have a question
They're
with
on.
Elijah. Yes, Alan would like to has a question. Go ahead.
Greetings.
Readings.
I had a question about how correlated are past lives and fractals, because if you have a past life, are you the fractal of that? And can you have a fractal of someone if you weren't them in a past life? That's my question.
Yes, all these are true, but you can have fractals within you and even now in your past lives, and they can come through from past lives in some ways. The information from past lives can come through, but your goal in every life is to reach for the highest realms of spirituality, of knowing God as you can. That is why there's so many things that come into your way. They are lessons to learn. They are things to clear from your own lives and from the past lives. Because once you come into an enlightened place in this life, it starts to clear the lives before it. It starts to clear the lives ahead. Remember, your understandings will be great and broad and not just touch this world in this life, but eternity.
All right, thank you.
You're welcome. I hope you understood
you.
that, because you are someone reaching toward enlightenment, reaching toward understanding and compassion, reaching toward knowing the truth.
I totally get it. Thank you.
You're welcome.
Okay, great. Thank you. The next question is from Kathy. Go ahead, Kathy.
Hello.
Hello, Elijah. Thank you for coming to speak with us. I have a question about dark energies and entities attacking people. There seems to be a lot of that lately.
Yes.
Can you explain why, and what can we do to protect ourselves better than we already are doing?
Protect yourselves with God. Remember, there are many of you that want to go down the right path, the right direction, but yet on the way down the path, you're stopping to look at some things that are dark, some things that are untrue, some things that may affect you. If you stay on the true path, very little can happen to you, because God is protecting you and bringing you forward. You are following His path. Of course, everyday life can have its ups and downs. There are still lessons to learn. There are still things that must happen. And some people are taking everyday life as an attack. Not everything in your everyday life is an attack from aliens. There are things that are happening in the world that happen every day that are not attacks. They are just things that you must deal with. Do not give the enemy credit for what he is not doing. Do not give the enemy power where there is none. Your everyday life is your everyday life. And if you run into a brick or fall down or do something and break your leg, it's not necessarily an attack. Many people are saying, I'm being attacked, my this and that. Some of these are attacks, but some of these are just everyday life. You have to be able to tell the difference. Some of you say, oh, my relatives are dying because aliens are attacking my family. Death is part of everyday life. Death is part of what God has ordained for every species. And they cannot die without God's permission. So therefore, take up your wisdom. Start to be wise and know what is an attack and what is not, for one thing. That's the first thing. So when you hear that they're being attacked, aches and pains and all these things, arthritis, other things, these are not attacks. These are part of everyday life. But if somebody is messing with the brain, or somebody you know has markings on their body, or things of this nature, it could be an attack. Call on God to know the difference between an attack, because you don't want to give the enemy a greater advantage by giving him the credit. Now, you can stop these things. Do not, whenever somebody gets an attack, they're sharing it with the world. Everybody knows about these attacks. This is like saying to the negativity, look, we're succeeding. Look at all these people talking about their attacks, how well we're doing. We better keep this up. Maybe we can overwhelm everybody with attacks or belief that they are having attacks. We just have to put it in their mind that they're being attacked, and they'll tell everybody they're being attacked. And then we get the credit. Give God the credit for all the things that are positive. Oh, of course, there are attacks, and I know they are, and you may share them with your friends, but I would not announce them to the world. This is not their business. This is the business between you and God, and you and Spirit, and you and those that you call for protection, the angels. I know and understand that sometimes you need to share so that there is healing energy coming into you so that you may have these. Share it with those people that are healers and that understand how to deal with these things. But yes, I know that there are a lot of attacks right now. Gird yourself up with the truth of God. Gird yourself up with the truth of all that is happening in the spiritual realm. Attacks won't be coming if they can't get to you. If you're not wallowing in desperation, sorrow, greed, and things that are not channeled into God's thought process. You do not have to be a superhuman to be godly. You just have to trust in God. Does that answer your question?
Yes, it does. Very well. Thank you so much, Elijah.
You're welcome.
Many blessings.
Many blessings
you.
to all of you.
There's a question from Stephanie. Go ahead, Stephanie.
Greetings, Elijah.
Greetings.
Many blessings to you.
Of course.
You had talked about judgment and judge not lest you be judged.
Of
And
course.
sometimes it seems like it's a really thin line between having an opinion about something that may not necessarily be, light and positive, and it being judgment. Can you clarify where it transitions to that? Thank you.
Yes. If you are working with God in all the ways to become a greater human, to reach that enlightened stage and the higher levels of enlightenment, you will not be judging other things. You may have an opinion if you are asked. But remember, sometimes when you give an opinion without someone asking for it, it can appear to be judgmental. Wait for the people to ask for your opinion. Wait for them to ask for this kind of information before you give it, for it may sound judgmental. Now, in everyday talk, with your friends, with your family, there are many things that you may have opinions about with them, and that's fine. They are your family. They know who you are inside and out. Your thought processes are clear with them, and they know that you are not judging them. But to the outside world, if you were to give the same opinions, there would be great confusion about what you are talking about. So therefore, use your wisdom when you give your opinions, because remember that your family and your friends are much different than the world outside. Those that know you best will know that you are not judging, but those that do not know you may have a grievance.
So when asked, even if it doesn't necessarily comport to what someone else that has asked for your opinion is in the belief of, it's not necessarily judgmental. I'm thinking it's just my opinion is different than yours, and maybe I guess I just would need to clarify, or we would need to clarify that it's just our opinion, only our opinion.
It's in your intention as well to be pure and true and honest.
Yes.
When you're giving an honest opinion, you are not judging. You are giving an honest opinion through God's eyes, and you are not putting them down. The wording of an opinion is different than the wording of a judgment.
Understand. Thank you so much for that clarification.
Yes, you are not pointing a finger. You are not casting dispersion. You are not judging if you are giving an opinion, because it is of a different nature than that.
Very well. Thank you so much, Elijah. God bless you.
God bless you.
We have a question from Alan. We have a
Someone else.
question for Alan. From Alan, yeah.
Yes.
I'm not aware I had a question. I think that was Kate, wasn't it?
He already asked a question.
Okay, there was someone else then. Let me see.
I'll
Don,
take
why
one
don't
more
you ask a question? Yeah, Don, why don't you ask your questions from the chat?
Yes, I'll take a couple questions and then I'll go. Dawn, you are muted.
Thank you very much. Good to see you, Elijah. Thank you very much for taking our questions today.
You're welcome.
Okay. This question first is from Leanna Calina. Her question is, Elijah, how do we deal with a boss who will shout at you?
That is their error. And you must not shout back, because that is returning evil for evil, because the very fact that they are shouting shows that they are not in control. There are times for shouting for justice sake, if someone is being not taken care of properly or being there's an injustice being done, you may want to shout your injustice to them so they can hear. But in this case, when someone's just screaming their opinions and their rank and their power, it is not correct. And what are you to do? You are to look at them and say, nothing. Because whatever you say will not be heard. For once yelling and screaming has started, communication is not there. Not truly. They have already voiced that they are the only voice to be heard. Your voice will be lost in it, and it may be judged. So therefore, to say anything at that time, during the yell, during the arguing is when people are going back and forth, but if someone is yelling, you should not say anything because it matters not. They will not hear it, not truly. Does that make sense to you?
It does.
And the other thing is this. There may be a time that you want to go to that person and explain why what they yelled about was not appropriate in a sweeter way, in a way of dialogue and not argument. But if they become argumentative again, then I would stop speaking. Because once someone starts yelling, communication stops. They are right, you are wrong. And that is how they see it.
Thank you.
When you yell, you are screaming your righteousness. You are telling them you are right. But how do people hear that? Is that the enlightened thought process?
Thank you.
Okay, we have a question from Kate.
Yes.
Good morning, Elijah. Thank you. I have this question. If you could speak about a little bit to help us understand why we're finding that angels are coming together now in this physical realm and meeting each other, and the purpose of finding each other.
Yes.
That would be
It is
great.
a beautiful thing that those of you that are in the light and are on the ascension path be together and know each other. The reason for this is that you are all connected anyway, and that many of you will become good friends in the light. You will share the beauty of this light together and become stronger as an individual and as a group. The light must continue. The ascension must go on. And you must be aware that you are part of it and feel a part of it. And how are you going to feel a part of it if you're sitting alone? Meeting and caring for one another is a beautiful, beautiful thing, and it will help you to reach out to others who are trying to understand what is happening to them. They are waking up and they don't understand, and it's frightening. Remember how you were when you awoke and when you started to understand the things that were not of this world, and the things of enlightenment, and the things of God, and the things of extraterrestrials. You must get together, must work with one another in a peaceful, beautiful way, and a loving kindness to one another to help each other understand. I know that there will be many questions, but with your experience, you can help them get through and help them grow and learn. Remember, this is not for your benefit when you're helping them, but it will benefit you. Does that make sense?
Yes, that makes sense.
Beautiful.
Okay. Actually, there's a question from Angie, if you want to ask it, Angie.
I would basically, I just wanted you to speak a little bit more on the injustice of people when you say, you know, say nothing because your voice will not be heard, which is true. Sometimes you can be in a situation and not have your voice heard. However, does that make you look weak because you are not, especially when there's an injustice? I guess I just
Correct.
wanted a little
Let
bit
me
more
tell you
clarity.
this. When you look weak, are you weak or are you strong in not fighting? The strength is in your belief. When you believe that you are weak, then you are. When you believe you have strength in your silence, because there is nothing you can say to change what the other person is saying, then you are strong, because you are stopping the argument. You are stopping the negativity from coming forth. That is strength. Weakness is when you believe that you are weak and you're silent because you're afraid to speak. In your silence, you are not afraid to speak, but you know that it's not appropriate at that moment. And that's a strength, knowing when it is right to speak and when it is not right to speak. The other person, you are showing restraint and showing them that you are not weak by not arguing with them. You may say something to them in a calm voice, such as, I'm not going to argue with you. I do not believe that you're correct, but I will not argue with you. You can be strong even in your silence and what they believe is your weakness, because they are weak when it comes to wisdom. They are weak when it comes to understanding and compassion. They are the weak ones when it comes to communicating and telling what they really need to say. Are they really the strength? No, they are the weakness, for they believe in the incorrect method, the incorrect solution, the incorrect pathways to get what they need. God is the strength. How often do you hear his voice? Very rare. Let me tell you why. God is in the silence, and he communicates to you through his peace, his calmness, his wisdom and understanding in the silence of your being. As you become enlightened, look at those that have become truly enlightened in your world. They spend much time in silence and in prayer and in seeking God, not in screaming or giving their opinions or knowing everything that is right and wrong. They are within God's glory as they try to understand the truth about him. And when they speak, do they scream? Do they spout? No. They give you the information that is true. And their actions are giving. Their actions are those of ones who would give all that they have so that others may survive. Give of themselves when others need. Give whatever is necessary so that others will be strengthened. But they do not give a lot of words. They give of themselves and of their enlightenment state. I don't know if that's the right way to say that, but it is something that you might understand. Does that give you any more understanding?
It does. Thank you so much. Thank you.
You're welcome.
Okay, there are some questions from Dawn. Do you have very many more questions, Dawn, or not?
Yes, I have a fair list here. Just a second, I'll bring them up again.
Do you want to stay, Elijah, or do you want to go? It's up to you.
There are others that need to speak. I could answer one more question if you wish.
Okay, Dawn.
Okay. Okay, this is from Dr. Andrea Santo. Her question is, how do other galaxies experience unconditional self-love? What are the main milestones?
Of course, the milestones are the same on every world. God is God everywhere in the universe. And so if you ascribe to the name of God, Allah, Jah, whatever name it is that you call God, he has 1,000, 1,000,000, 1,000,000,000,000 other names in the universe. And he is the first light that you must aspire to. What are the milestones, the stones that you must come to? The first one is recognition that God is all. He is in all, he has created all, and he is part of all. His energy has created everything. So from his energy came all things. So he is part of it all. And that is the first thing you must understand. It is that the music is him, the radiance of the sun is him, the desk that you sit at, he created that matter that is there. And so all things are God, and he must be given praise and glory and credit for what he created. You are his children. He created all of you as well. And whatever you do in the name of God, you must give him the glory. That is the first stone that needs to be turned.
Thank
All
you.
right, I will go
Thank you.
for now.
All right. Thank you.
Many blessings to all of you. I hope I have not rambled on too long.
No, your words were very beautiful and informative. Thank you very much.
There are others that want to come, and they have purpose. I will go. Many blessings.
Many blessings.
Greetings, I am Sengi from the 𝗕𝗘𝗜𝗡𝗦𝗧𝗜𝗖 Alliance. I have come
Welcome,
to talk
Sengi.
about the hybridization programs, but most of you know about them already, so I will entertain some questions, if that is all right.
Okay, who was the person that requested the information on the hybrids? Who was that?
I do not know.
No, I'm asking in the group chat. Who was it that, was it Kate? Go ahead, Kate, then you go ahead and you start, please.
Good morning, Sangi. Thank you for being here for us. Some of us have learned that we have hybrid children on the ships and on planets. And I didn't write my question down. I was so— my question would be, Oh my gosh. That wouldn't help. I
You
lost my
finally get to ask
question.
your question.
Well,
I
Take a
know.
moment.
I'm thinking really hard. Alan, if you have one, ask, please,
well,
or
I
someone.
want to say something first.
Alan,
Yes, please.
Yeah.
I
Thank you.
wanted to say that there are many of you that have hybrid children and are part of the hybridization program in one way or another. There are many parts to it, actually. There's the part where you just donate your DNA and then that is made into serums to give to those that need it around the galaxy and universe. There are those that want hybrid children, and that is part of it. And then there are those that are taking your DNA and trying to understand what and how you are made up from all these different species that are within you. And that is an ongoing education with all of us. So I know that many of you have hybrid children, and many of you want to know how they're doing, what they're saying, how old they are, and things of this nature. This is just natural for a parent to want to know these things. And so I am here to just tell you that those are things that are more needed in private sessions so that they do not bore everyone else. But there are some questions about the hybridization program that everyone needs to know. And maybe your question will be able to enlighten others with your questions about your children, etc. Because many want to know about the hybridization programs and the DNA programs that are going on. We at 𝗕𝗘𝗏𝗧𝗧𝗧𝗧 are not the only ones involved in these hybridization programs. There are other species that have their own programs. The reptilians, the Arcturians, the Fendorians, the Syrians, the Pleiadians. Many of these have their own programs that they're running outside of our program. But ours seems to be the most unified program and has the greatest amount of hybrid children in it. The planet Pelana is where we send most of these hybrid families because the educational program there for their children is greater. There are still hybrid children on Era, Terra, Maya, and other places in the universe. But the planet Pelana has become a hub for many families of hybrid children so that they can get a greater education. It appears that when someone has a hybrid child, these children are more advanced in many ways. We are wondering and trying to understand why they are so advanced. But it is that humanity has come to a stage in their development that they are able to give DNA to the outer world that is so much more helpful than they can possibly imagine, and so much more advanced than they even imagine. So it is that the hybrid program is very successful. Now I will entertain questions.
That is beautiful. Thank you, because that was more my question of, could you enlighten us into the hybridization program, moreover, just having children, the children we know that we have.
Exactly.
Exactly. So thank you for understanding my question.
I sort of read it on your mind.
Yes.
And I was looking at your thought processes about it. And there are others here that have similar thought processes about the hybrid programs. They wanted to know a little bit more. And
Yes.
what kind of serums are being made.
Serums, interesting, yes.
Because the serums that are being made are not just for one species. They can be made for several different species. And you'll say, well, why do they need these serums? Because some of these species have evolved out of practicality, outside of practicality, into thin, undernourished underdeveloped beings that have turned their whole thought processes to intellectualism and thought processes, and that is unhealthy. They have very few emotions anymore. They have very few connections with other realms because they have taken away these things from their being, and they need help because they're sickly and their species will die out just being intellectual. That is not what the species is supposed to develop into, but well-rounded beings. And so these serums help some of these different species become more well-rounded again. They bring actual emotions to them, not with one injection, of course, but with the injection of many different serums. They can actually start to feel again, actually start to know again, make proper decisions about their species and their lives, whereas they had grown away from it and were becoming extinct. They were not eating properly. They were not knowing properly, but their telepathy and their greater psychic energies were keeping them alive. Whereas they need more than just that. They needed health. They needed emotional guidance. They need to become a whole species again without evolving away from it. God is not pleased with that kind of development where they cut him out even in some senses and believe that they are all the be all and are the end all, so to speak. But yes, they will end themselves with that kind of philosophy. Does that make sense?
That makes a lot of sense. And I thank you for reading my thought process to help me out. Thank you greatly.
I haven't, there are other species that are just needing health. They are just needing a greater immune system, a greater understanding because they have cut out the wrong kinds of foods and things of this nature. And that is another serum that can be made, but it's made for several different species, not just one. And so it has to be made for that particular species for it to help them. And so depending on what blood we take, there are some of you that have greater reptilian in you, or greater Fendorian in you, or greater Pleiadian in you. Those are the things we look for when making the serums that will help different species with different illnesses and immune problems.
How beautiful. How beautiful is that?
So I thought that would be helpful for you to know.
That's helpful for everyone to know. I thank you. I'll let someone else ask questions.
Now,
Sure.
some may...
Go ahead.
Yes.
Oh, go ahead. Go. No, please finish. No, you finish. Go ahead.
No, I know that there are those on Earth that twist the meanings and thought processes of the hybrid program into creating an army or whatever of hybrid creator beings. And that's not what this is all about at all. But it is about helping the universe. It is about helping different species along. It's helping to fortify immune systems and bring up the intellects of some species. I know that they are already advanced, but developing a higher understanding with greater emotional and emotional IQs make the universe a safer and more beautiful place. You don't understand how important an emotional IQ is to the universe, because many do not have it.
And
okay, thank you. Go ahead. Sorry, you let me know when you
I
guys
was
are
just
done.
going
I'm
to
sorry.
say it's imperative that people do know that this is by contract, that they have not been it's not against their own free will. That needs to be out there.
Exactly. It used to be against their own free will at one time, but not any longer.
Thank you. I will go now. Thank you.
You're welcome. Karen,
you.
you may speak now.
All right, thank you. We have a question from Saphira, and then we'll come back to Alan because Alan's already asked a
course,
question.
yes.
Go ahead. Go ahead.
Thank you. Hello.
Greetings.
I would like to know, I have a few questions, please. One is, how many strands of DNA are the human hybrid children born with? We are born, I believe, well, what we use as opposed to what we're born with, but are they born with more DNA strands active? I guess that's the best question.
It depends on the species. Yes, there are certain species that have higher activation of DNA strands. Not every species has the same amount. Your human species has 2 active DNA strands. However, there's a third one coming for humanity. It is already there in the 4th dimension when you attain it. So that DNA strand will be activated when you hit the 4th dimensional in the fullness of it. Some may say the 5th dimension, but 5th dimension has more strands than 4th. So there are up to 12 DNA strands that have been activated in some species. Those that have 12 DNA strands are so advanced that they are not part of this program. But there are those in the DNA strands upward of 6 and 7 DNA strands in the universe that we do work with. Pleiadians have 4 DNA strands, and some of you have 3 DNA strands in some ways, because there are some of you that there's a partial activation of the 3rd strand. But some Pleiadians have 3 strands, some Pleiadians have 4 strands, and there are also Pleiadians that have 5 strands. And so it depends on who you have your hybrid children with. Lyrans have 4 strands, Fendorians 6 strands, just different species.
Thank you. So when, let's say I have a human Lyran child. So
yes,
I have the 2 strands of my human side and plus however many strands the Lyran has at that moment?
Well, as it depends which part of the DNA takes the greatest effect. If the human strands have the greatest effect, they might have less than 4 strands of DNA, or they may have greater than 4 strands. We have noticed that hybrid Lyrans have 5 strands for the most part.
Okay, which means that they're
adding a strand.
Yeah, okay, so that means that that child's spiritual abilities would be much even more advanced than the Lyran without the combination?
I would say that spiritual intelligence is different. You have to gain your spiritual intelligence in the same ways, but they may be able to advance it much more quickly, but they must begin at the same place.
And what about the clairvoyant abilities? What about the spiritual gifts? Are they all hands?
Clairvoyance is not necessarily spiritual. It's what is the word? Psychic abilities. Yeah. So their psychic abilities, yes, have increased as well. So the psychic ability of a hybrid child is about 20% greater in most cases than the combination, than the original 3 parents, I should say, because you have the human factor and then the 2 parents of the child. Now, sometimes the father is not involved in the hybridization, and sometimes the father is, depending on the wishes of the human portion of the parent.
Thank you. That's wonderful information. I have one more question. Of all the hybrid children that have been born and growing up in the last 10 years, what percentage of them are trained for mission on Earth, and would they try and get into leadership positions to have a influence on the world in that way, or how would their mission be?
That is up to the child. We actually give them, they have different aptitudes and different wishes and desires for their lives. We give them opportunity to express how they want to live their lives. It is not that we are going to shape them into someone that wants to go a certain place or do a certain thing. They have certain capabilities and certain advancements that would shape their lives on their own. We would allow them to be ambassadors to Earth if that is what they wish. We would allow them to be visitors to Earth if that is what they wish. Many of them have advanced thought processes about many things. And so we let them develop on their own in ways that they would want to develop. This is part of the program because we do not want to force anything on them that is not natural. Now, of course, we ask them what they would like to learn, and they give them aptitude tests, many aptitude tests at the beginning to see where their aptitudes are. And at the beginning, they will give them those courses that will appeal to their aptitude. But if they wish to change their line of course understanding or educational understanding, they may do so.
Okay, there is or is there a specific, forgive me for using human words. They don't really form my question well enough, but is there a endeavor, a mission for Earth for a certain proportion of hybrid children who wish to do it?
Yes, well, they have to want to do it. And yes, if they want that, that is something they are taught and they are aspiring to do already. We are not the ones that have given them that vision necessarily. We have put a group of subject matters out for them to choose. And if they choose that they want to be an ambassador to Earth or with missions to Earth, they are taught and trained in that manner.
Okay, thank you. I thought that they were being born for this purpose, not
necessarily,
not exclusively, but you know what I mean by that thought process.
They are being told they do want to visit their parents on Earth, absolutely, but they are being born for the universe and not just Earth.
Wonderful. Thank you so much for your answers. Thank you.
You're welcome.
Okay, Dave has a question. Go ahead, David.
Greetings. You are muted.
Had to get back to the right screen. So good to speak with you.
Greetings.
So I have a question about, I've been having a health challenge and I want to ask in a way that will present information that will help others. Is there anything that you can tell me about my current health? One of the other questions that I think will integrate that would help others is when I'm taking new pills, I'm kind of nervous about taking the new pills, and I took them last night and I felt kind of numb and just made me feel different. So I was really nervous about.
That is your psychic area telling you that this is something new, you have to check it out. However, let me tell you about what you are taking. I understand you communicated with the universe earlier today, so some of that information is available. What we are seeing is this. There are those of you that do not want to take medications because you feel that it is it may help one thing but be harmful to another thing. But there are certain things we cannot help you with out here. Even 𝗕𝗟𝗘𝗦𝗦𝗜𝗡𝗚𝗎 or 𝗕𝗘𝗘𝗦𝗏 in our area cannot help you with all the disabilities and all the illnesses that come about on your planet. So therefore, you need to endeavor to find doctors that know what they are doing and how to treat illnesses that are on Earth that we cannot treat because we are too far away. We do not have the right chemicals or and things of that nature. We can help to a certain degree, but comes a point where we let human doctors take it after a certain point. Now, we are very good with working with the mind, with the brain, with different things, headaches and things of that matter, but not with some of the other ailments. We would have to bring you to the ship to be able to diagnose it properly and to treat it properly. It can be treated here, but it cannot sometimes be treated from a distance. So what you are taking will help you. This is true. So do not be afraid of it. And others of you that are afraid to go to doctors, if it is necessary to go, you must go, because you do want to do your mission at the highest percentage of health as you can. Now, we know that there are some doctors out there that are not good. Make sure your doctor is good, because if he is diagnosing things that you know are not correct, then you must find the ones that will diagnose you properly. So yes, thank you for your question, because it is good for us to let you know, as people of outside of your world, there are things that we cannot do for you that we would love to be able to do for you, but we are not able to bring you to the ship, or we are not able to do the treatment from 75,000 miles away.
Okay, so am I in safe condition now? Sometimes another thing that would help, sometimes people don't want to maybe take things because they're worried that it's going to cause them to end up in the hospital or have to go to emergency. And at the current state at this time, some people are not doing things because they're worried about actually going to the hospital at this time because of the virus. And is there anything you can say about, and they're actually dying?
Yes, I can tell you this.
Worried about
if you were given a medication that helps you, take it. Otherwise, your fear of being in the hospital will be real. If they can give you something to keep you out of the hospital, then take it. If you're not taking it because you are afraid of the hospital, then that is sending you to the hospital. So you must trust that they're giving you the right thing.
But is it safe to be in the hospital at this time? Is there anything you can help to help?
They will not put you on the same floor as those that are having the virus called COVID-19 or coronavirus. They will not put you on the same floor as any of those unless they're overflowing with patients. In your area, as I see, there are not many. So you would not even be on the same floor as any of these patients.
Okay, beautiful. Are you able to tell me, is my health okay at this time? Like, can I just relax?
We will do a scan on you later. This is not the time for that.
All right. Thank you very much.
You're welcome.
Okay, there's
Any
a
other
question
questions?
from Alan. Yes, there's a question from Alan.
Very good.
All right, hi. Greetings. So I'm not going to beat around the bush. This is a personal question, but I'll try to keep it short. It's pretty standard. Do I have any hybrid children? If so, how many? And what was the species I had them with?
All right. Many of you have hybrid children, and you do as well. And you have about 3. Have you never looked into this before?
Well, I got this from a reading I did with a friend on Saturday through some cards, and there was just like at least 7 synchronicities that pointed towards this, and I was like, wait, I'm 21. My ego is telling me that's too young to have a kid, but I'm like, well, apparently not.
How many did they tell you you had? You have 3.
Oh yeah, that's the number that came to me. We weren't sure because it was just a couple of cards or anything. It wasn't.
Yes, you have 3, but they're very young. But
Okay.
you just gave permission to have them within the last couple of years.
Okay, what was the species that I had them with?
You wanted different species. You have a Lyran, a Pleiadian, and a Fendorian.
Oh wow, okay. Thank you.
We'll talk about that more, but there is 3. And if that was the number they gave you, it was correct.
That was the number that came to me. Yeah.
Ah, that's the number that's correct.
Yeah. Thank you.
Anyone else? Or
Yes, there's a question from Riwka. There's a question from Riwka.
greetings.
Greetings, Angie, and blessings. I am.
Blessings.
Yes, thank you. Last week, I gave permission to get a lot of DNA from me. Did this came through?
Yes.
Okay. I will.
Yes. We
okay.
get permission from you. There are certain ones of you that even you in your astral travels, you ask us to take your DNA. So we come to you in the astral and ask sometimes, because when there are some of you that only talked about it, this hybrid program in your astral state, and so we'd prefer to talk to you in this reality.
Okay. I gave that in a meditation, my permission.
Yes.
Okay, thank you. And
You're welcome. Many blessings, and thank you very much.
You're welcome. Thank you.
Great. There's a question from Ian.
Ian.
Hi, thanks for taking my question. A question about the hybrid children. Are there hybrid children that are born just specifically to be in the SSP program?
Not in our program, but there are programs that are not connected to 𝗕𝗘𝗏𝗧𝗔𝗖𝗍𝗔 programs that may do that. I know of one program from Andromeda that does do such a thing, but we are not in alliance with them or do not believe that this is the right thing to do.
Do you know what happens to those children? Like if they're owned by SSP?
Go ahead.
Like if they're owned by SSP?
They are not owned. They are born by permission of their parents to go to the SSP program. And they do not join the SSP program until they are 5 years of age in most cases.
So what happens to the hybrid children that are born into SSP? Do they have a way out?
Their parents have given them over to the SSP program, as we understand, and parents are sworn to secrecy, not to speak about it, and not to tell anyone anything about what their agreement is with the SSP.
Okay.
That is all we know.
Okay, thank you very much.
You're welcome.
There's a question from Catalin. Go ahead.
Yes, hello.
Greetings.
Hello. I have this skin issue, which is now pretty much over. It's someone is doing like a daily healing. However, I did before healings on it, and it lasted 1 or 2 days. Can I ask in what stage is it this issue?
The skin condition?
Yeah, in what stage? It's at the end. It's still.
It seems like yes, you're almost over it. 1 moment, please. They will scan it. But the thing is that it is at the end condition. So the final stage, I would believe. They will give you more information later today. You do have a session today.
Yeah.
Oh, very well. Then you will have your answer.
Okay, good. Okay. Can I ask about my hybrid children? How many I have now?
How many did you have before? Hold on. I think you have 4.
Yeah, that's what I knew. But I was thinking if I have more.
No, you still have 4.
4. Okay. they're big people now, maybe.
Yes, they're older, yes.
Yeah. Good, good. That's pretty much it. Thank you very much.
You're welcome. Have a good day.
Thank you.
Very well.
Ian, did you ask your question about the super soldier thing or not?
Yes.
He did. All right. Okay, then Safira has a question. Go ahead.
Hello again. Thank you.
Greetings.
Well, the question about the super space program reminded me of another question. There are children on Earth who are taken and experimented with their DNA to make them super soldiers or have super elevated abilities for government use or whatever. I'm wondering if you know if such thing is really true, and second, do they use alien DNA in reverse to enhance us? Like normally our DNA is used to enhance the universe. Is there alien DNA being used to enhance humans in such programs that you know of?
Well, the first part of your question is that they used to take children and send them to the secret space program, but that was stopped. Any child that they take off the planet now is monitored. So they do not do that any longer with human children, but they did quite frequently in the past, up to 15 years ago. They do not do that any longer, but there are still children that are in the secret space program that they did from that time. Now, are they doing the DNA backwards into humans? It's if only by permission. And what I mean by that is this. There are those that have agreed to come to the planet and be born into human bodies from other species that are trying to help the ascension process. But there are also those that are negative beings that agreed to be born into the human culture, into human bodies as well. So you have a very big section of society, not very big, but a larger portion of society at this time than ever before that are actually non-human humans. Does that make sense to you?
Yes. Are they?
But it is still not millions or anything like that. But there are thousands.
Oh, are they scattered all over the earth, or are they controlled? Or are they controlled by a certain organization to keep?
No, not. They have they know of which their mastery is from, and they go to them because they know when they awaken into the realization of who they are as an alien being, then they know who their leaders are.
I see. Okay. That opens up a whole bag of other questions, but I will go for now. Thank you so much. Thank you.
Yes.
Okay, Alan has one more question. Go ahead, Alan.
I mean, there's really no going around it. I mean, you know, how can you be told that you have hybrid children and not want to know their names, you know? Like that's
you
it.
will
I
know
mean,
them.
it's to be expected.
I think that you should know the names of your children, yes. There's no question. But I cannot do that right now, but I will do that later.
Yeah,
the names will come to you
later.
Yes.
Yeah.
There are 2 boys and a girl.
Wow. Okay. Thank you. That's all from me. See,
Yes.
like I promised.
All right, and then Dawn has some questions from the chat. Go ahead, Dawn.
Okay, thank you. Okay, this next one is from, I'm sorry I didn't get them all answered today. There's a good slew of them. This is from Georgios 𝗕𝗘𝗦𝗦𝗜𝗡𝗦𝗧𝗜𝗢. How many hybrid children have I, and what are their names, please?
I cannot look that up right now because we are, but you have, one moment. There are 3, and there are 2 girls and a boy, and I will give you the names later.
Okay, thank you. And I have another question from Veritas Legionus. And his question is, does the coronavirus vaccine add a third DNA strand that will irreversibly break our link to source?
No. They're working on several different versions of this vaccine. One has nanobots in it, and that will just do control issues and surveillance issues, meaning that they'll know where you are at all times, and they'll be able to control some of your thoughts. So that is being fought by those that are actually creating the vaccine. They do not want that in their vaccines. Some have quit, and they will not create a vaccine with that in it. So there are still those that are working on that. But the vaccines that they want to create are, from the cabal point of view, are negative. But there are others working on proper vaccines that do not have these kinds of things within them. So it is a fight at this point, who will have the first vaccine. The thing is about this, it won't be for at least a year, because they have to be tested and tried and approved and different things. And there's a lot of interaction going on with that. And we are sending information to those that are in the positive realms of creating the vaccine, that of what to not to put in the vaccine. So we're helpful, but we're not allowed to actually do anything with the vaccines, but we have been helpful to some.
Okay.
Information about these vaccines is coming from several different places, probably 8 different places on your planet where they're developing vaccines in a rapid way, but no one has gotten a vaccine that is actually beneficial, because the disease has mutated already into other forms. So as the vaccine are being made, they're also no longer valid, because the disease itself is mutating.
This next question is from me, because I have seen a motherboard with the words COV-19 on the port that would be connected to Cablevision. I'm just wondering, is this hooked into the 5G network in that manner?
I do not know. I will check that out, but it's very possible. But the thing is, they have not developed a 5G mind control in any way yet. No, they haven't done that yet, but they are definitely working on something of that nature, but they cannot develop it because the minds of the people are very diverse. They have made the minds of the people diverse, and so now they cannot control it because the minds are too diverse in many ways. And so they cannot develop one wave that will
saturates everyone at the same time. Yeah, understand.
All right.
Okay, and I guess I'll return control to Karen. Thank you very much, Sengi. I appreciate your answers.
There was one more question from Kate, I think. Was it Kate?
And then I will go and let someone else come.
Okay.
Thank you kindly. It's my understanding that the human DNA was crossed with the Zeta DNA to replenish the race. Yes. So I understand that to be true. I'm wondering, is it possible to have a mate that is a hybrid being?
A mate that is already hybrid to do more hybridization? Is that what you're saying?
Yes.
Yes, it has been happening. At least there are several hybrids from many, many years ago that are coming out and saying that they want to try another form of hybridization within that hybridization. Now, they are not within our program because our program is rather new as of maybe 10 years, let's see, 2007, 2008. So our program is only 12 years old. So none of our hybrid children, well, there are a few that might be old enough to have hybrid children of their own, but we are not advocating for them to do hybrid on hybrid until we get a controlled program for that. But there are those from other species that have been doing hybridization programs for much longer that are doing work like that.
Okay, thank you. That puts a little bit of understanding in that in a human way. I'd say there was different departments that are still doing hybridization. Some are really older that they've been there and some are brand new. And are these programs not holding hands? I don't know how to say that.
We are allies with some of them, but not all of them. There are those programs that are very similar to our own, which we are allies with and give trade information, and information is freely given. But there are hybridization programs that we do not work with because we do not agree with their tactics or the way they do things. And so we do not share information with them.
Oh, thank you so much for your understanding and being here for us today.
You're welcome. I will go now, and there's maybe time for one more.
There is a question from Dawn. Go ahead, Dawn. Or is there one more question you have or not?
Yes, I'll take one more.
Dawn, do you have a question?
Not at this time. Thank you.
Okay,
All right.
Safira, do you want to ask your question?
Yes.
No, I guess not. Okay.
Okay. Very good.
Thank you.
I will bring one more person through because there are several waiting.
Okay, thank you very much. Thank you for being here, Sangeev. It's the first time I've ever spoken with you.
Yes, thank you. All right, you've asked for me many times, so I'm here. I'm Jerry Garcia.
Hi, Jerry Garcia.
And I don't know why you want me to come through. I don't have any knowledge, but I have, kind of information from just being here and from being who I was on the planet. I have information about that, but I don't know what you want to know.
Well, unfortunately, the person who requested you is gone. Already had to leave. So
All right.
I will tell you that I enjoyed your music so very much. My roommates especially were what were called deadheads. I'm sure you know what that is.
I know
so
that.
they would be thrilled. They would be thrilled. And I will tell you that our cat was named after one of your songs. So,
Which song?
Sugar Magnolia.
I like that song. Yeah. Well, I like all our songs. So.
Anyway, it's much love to you. I don't know if anyone has a question.
Safira
has a question.
I don't know. They pushed me through. So they said, they asked for you 3 times now. So get in there. So.
Okay. Well, Safira has a question for you.
Yes. Mm-hmm.
Hello.
Greetings.
I cannot say I'm familiar with your music as much, but I'm trying to imagine what Cher would want to ask you, and be.
A non-fan asking a fan question. That's an interesting.
I'm just trying to use my imagination here.
Yes. Okay. We did too.
So are you producing music or creating music through somebody on Earth right now?
Not through anyone on Earth, but there are those that have ascribed to our type of music, such as Fish, the group Fish. We listen to them a lot because they have a similar ideology of how to be a jam band.
Okay. Do you make music with other famous artists who went to the spiritual world as well?
Of course, yes, yes. Oh, absolutely. Jimi Hendrix is here, Jim Morrison, you know, Janis Joplin. There's tons of really great people up here that did music, of course, you know, and Buddy Holly and all that jazz.
Yeah.
I actually like him better than some of the others because he has more of that down home, very earthy kind of thought process, where other ones are more, you know, even though I was a druggie, even though I had a lot of you know, hallucinogens things, but I really was a very down to earth person when you come right down to it. I did a lot of very earthy things. I was in contact with Mother Nature, and oh yeah, she's here too. So yeah, although drugs were great, and what drugs did was solidified the band in some way. When everybody's on drugs and you're jamming and you have good musicians, they sort of solidify things. Not that I'm advocating drugs, I wouldn't want to do that. But it did keep us in one mind.
Did those drugs have any effect on you when you ascended, on your spirit? Did you notice any negative?
Yeah, well, they kept me away from some spiritual energy that I should have been connected to, because and they also took me to places. The thing is, they were very spiritual as well. There are times when I took something and it was not spiritual, and it was very dark, and it was very awful. And but there were times when I was connected to the people around me that were doing very positive, feeling very positive, I should say. They weren't doing positive things, but they were feeling very positive. And so you get into that connection with those that are around you, and you can see what they're seeing after a while, after you've been with a certain group of people for a long time. You can see what they're seeing. And the Deadheads were like that. They had a vision of us, and we actually broke into their vision after being with some of these people so long. They followed us because they could see what we saw when we were on stage, and they could feel it, and they interacted with us. The audience was interactive with the actual jam session, with the actual music, and was able to help us produce a different concert every time. Does that make sense to you?
Oh, absolutely. A co-creative process.
It was amazing.
Yeah.
We had some of the greatest fans in the world, the greatest fans in the world, so that we could actually interact with them. They were down there, we were up here, but yet we were going, whoa, these people are interacting with us in such a real way. It made our jamming really, really special, made the sound really, really amazing. And we could, and we were connecting to them in a very different way than most people would connect to an audience.
Yes. So I'm going to ask a question that a friend of ours, his name is Max, would probably want to ask you.
Yeah.
Was there any alien connections during your process of creating music?
Well, we certainly saw them during the trips. Some of the trips, there were definitely beings there. We weren't interactive with them. We knew they were there. They were not really talking to us. They were letting us see them. And we would talk about it later and say, yo, did you experience like an alien or something during your while you were playing, and we were going, yeah, I saw them. Yeah, was that an alien or just a hallucination or whatever? But some of them would reappear more than once, so that we knew that they were not just random beings.
Mm-hmm.
Some of them would be there at like certain places, like in Boston. There was these beings that would always be there in Boston, or in California. There's beings that would always be there in California, but yet we weren't interactive with them necessarily, but they were there and we knew them, and we were going, did you see the California aliens? You know, it's like, it was like super crazy, but they were there in California, and then they were there in Boston. But those are the two places I remember that the specific beings were there, and we talked about them afterwards. But of course, we didn't say anything to anybody else because we're not crazy, but we were stoned and very high. So,
okay, one last question.
They would just say you were hallucinating, and we would say, yeah, that's what. Yeah, it was hallucinating.
Yeah. Yeah, thank you for that. One last question. Do you have any ancestral past life, any connection to 𝗕𝗘𝗚𝗧𝗧𝗏𝗧𝗏 and his brother 𝗕𝗘𝗦𝗧𝗏𝗧? The reason why he maybe feels connected, is there a connection between you and them?
When they were in the Hopi Indian tribe a long time ago, we were all there together, and that is one of the connections that we have. We have other lives together, but we were very strongly connected through the native Indians of the Americas.
Oh, that is wonderful. Do you want to work with them creatively now? Is that something you would do in some way?
Well, with 𝗕𝗓𝗓, I can see where I could work with him, because he's doing music for a movie and stuff, and he is connected to one of my songs that he is really in love with because of how it starts, and he just doesn't understand how I was able to write it, etc., etc. I get that, but I'd be able to work with him in more advanced ways. Yeah.
Oh, that is so wonderful. Thank you so much.
You know, he's I don't know if I'm one of his favorites or not, but I know who he is.
You must.
He's trying to come in, so we could maybe let him ask some questions.
Oh,
He's
yeah,
trying to
𝗕𝗓𝗓.
come in.
Is 𝗕𝗓𝗓 trying to come in?
No, 𝗕𝗓𝗓. Is 𝗕𝗓𝗓 Sheer?
Oh, Cheers trying to come in.
Yeah.
All right, Cheer. Where
you.
are you? We don't have much time left.
I'm trying to see if he keeps dropping. I'm trying to let him in the room, and he keeps dropping.
Interesting.
It's funny. Like
All
he
right.
finally.
All
I don't know. Let's give him a second to try to come.
All right.
Because I'm sure
I'll finish my little thing about 𝗕𝗓𝗓.
Yeah, go ahead.
He has a film he's making, and this film is about Grindel.
Okay.
And it's really an amazing little film. It's going to be absolutely one of the coolest little films you'll ever watch. It'll be like a half-hour long, but it's really very cool, and he wants music for it. But it has to be sort of transcendent in some places, or very alien in some places, and I can do that in some ways. But I have to get into I have to watch it a couple times more. But I've seen it and I like it, and he's changing a couple little things about it, making it even more real, making it even more into a full piece of work that is able to be seen by the world. So just saying that, I'm able to tell you that it's really good. I hope all of you watch it when it comes out. I don't know what it's called yet. I don't think it has a title. It has a working title, but I don't know what it is.
There, I'm so sorry, I keep hitting admit to let him in the room and then it keeps popping out again. So I don't know what's going on.
I don't know. It must be fate.
I know. We're going to have
I
to
know,
come
you
back
know,
though.
Some people believe in fate. Some people believe in bad technology, you know, whatever you
I
believe.
think it's a combination of both of them. I think
Yeah.
it's his karma that he's having bad
Yes.
technology.
It's karma. Yeah, karma, man. Oh, so
Exactly, dude.
If I could just say, Alan suggested, Jerry, if you could tap into Cher's thoughts perhaps and pick up any
okay.
questions he might have asked you. Yeah.
Why don't
well,
we,
with him not
I think
being
Cher might
here-
like the idea to ask his own question. And
Yeah, I
maybe if
think
you can
so.
come back.
And I really can't tap into it right at the moment. It's because, okay, I'll tell you why. Because there's like all these people here. I'm tapping into all these thoughts over here and over there and over here. And so, and he's not even online, so I can't even tap into that. So, but
He's here, he's just not able to get in, unfortunately.
all right.
Hmm,
Any other questions before we go?
I think so. No, I don't think so, but it was
All
really
right.
nice to have you here. Say hi to
Well,
all
I
the
just
great
popped
musicians
in
of
for
the world.
and how do you do, and you know, and let you know that I am listening to stuff here, and I'm a huge music fan of so many people, and there are so many people that I jam with in the afterlife here, and I'm not planning to come back to Earth anytime real soon. In fact, I think I might go somewhere else. Had enough of Earth for a while. Ugh. So, but I do look in. So, all right.
I just want to say that Cher is trying to get in, but he can't get in, and he just wants you to know he's sending you his regards.
All right. Thanks, Cher. Maybe I'll have to come back someday. They might let me. But
I keep hitting admit to the room, but he doesn't. It admits him. Dawn, can you try to let him in?
I was
keep
trying
hitting admit.
I know I was
Really?
doing that as well, and it was just popping in and out, and it was not
well, one
stable.
of you do it and not the both.
Okay, go ahead, Dawn.
I'm doing
You
it.
do it. Yeah, he's popping out too. He's popping
Because
in
if
and
you're
out.
both doing it, could be working against you.
Yep.
Yeah.
Okay, one last time.
Knowing a little bit about technology because of the way that the instruments, you understand I had to deal with some of the keyboard problems, and that was technology that made me want to scream. Keyboards all of a sudden can sound so different in different places. It's like, holy crap, that doesn't even, doesn't even sound like. I've been very good with my language today, by the way. I haven't been saying the bad words, but because that was part of my everyday language there.
Hey, Jerry.
I've learned to control it a little bit more. So
I have Cher's question. His question is, can you ask him if he can tell us about the musical scale from another planet?
Oh, sure. Musical scales from other planets take the environment and the sounds from the universe and make that into a scale. They'll take and sample, if you know what a sample is. They sample the universe and the environment and make music from that. And that's a whole different thing than what I've experienced from any Earth music at this time. I don't know if it is a scale necessarily, but they do put it on they do put these sounds in order of ascension into the higher pitches. And it's really quite interesting what they can make from that. Because you leave it's a very layered sound. It's a very, it's fucking beautiful, but it is just, oh, there it slipped. But anyway, it's beautiful. It's really ethereal. It's really earthy. but yet it's also very inspired. They've done this and made it into a very inspired sound. Is that a good enough answer?
Yes, I think so. Thank you
Sure.
very much.
All right.
Thank you. Are you familiar with Finnegan? He's Finnegan Eilish. He's Billie Eilish's brother. He's starting to do that.
Yes, I'm aware of who that is. A producer, really.
Yeah.
No more than
Yeah.
a musician or anything, but he has a way with ethereal sound.
Yeah, he has a way of sampling nature and also just sounds around him and making that the music.
Yeah, I like him. He's unique, he's different, and that's why he is award-winning.
Yes. Awesome.
All right, I have
Okay.
to go. They're saying,
Well, thank you, Jerry Garcia.
prayers, do something, you know, pray or something. So,
Okay, we're gonna pray.
okay,
Thank
I'll
so
see you
much.
later.
Bye-bye. Bye.
Thanks for having me on the show.
Ah.
All right, talk to you later.
Bye. All right, we're out of time, so please bring Jim back.
Hello?
Hi. Welcome back. Well, we got Jerry Garcia in the end, and then Sheer couldn't even come in. So
Oh,
what's
bummer.
that about? Yeah. Yeah. But so should we close with some blessings? Just a
Okay,
few,
go
because we're really at the end of the thing.
Riwka,
We'll
who else?
start. Kathy and Dawn. We'll keep it short today.
All right.
Go ahead, Kathy.
Me first?
Yeah.
Ashanti turo corona malane tutola tu salamadu, hasanore pesitamu, hashono kante. Samala manesi sichin jadona, makusa mastane ashu, shelano hulu ulalang, kono ushuin, hakuro tomote sudono isi, shemano lo sonuru, alamato konasitale pritishi ano hola kante, pikona halamanane, sishi anu lolo usu, tapet uman, tutosi manu halawantanan, mastononi adunai faruna malan, isi ona makasa taho padisi, lamu lana sohona matona pritu, shukuro hasanote la dusialu, malianto sisi pluro domosh, hotakala menoso holosho falu.
Thank you.
Take joy and thread it into your tapestry. Take peace and thread it through as well. Take hope and do the same. Take all kinds of positive and beautiful things and make your tapestry beautiful with it. And as this tapestry is being created, you will find that there will be many admirers of it. There will be many of those who want to say to you, how did you make this glorious piece? How did this tapestry become what it is? And you can tell them that you took all the best things in life and wove it through your own and created a tapestry of great magnificence and great beauty.
Go ahead, Dawn.
Thank you. Poram ta satanti kasatore me kastai akno mashdaisika yakutushna hasa. The osnum hostum kasentiodo the antashnahasto niasanti. Nara horokon pushinta kasika aliantos kmakaha se ekata. Se onno moshikataiska uto yamata shen tisakoturo shenakasa tanamasate.
The universes are filled with great mysteries and great beauties and great darknesses as well. But God is within each and every one of you, in each and every soul, so that He is allowing you to become closer to him, and understand all these mysteries and beauties in the universe. Let him and allow him to be who you are in every way.
Thank you. And who else was going to do a blessing?
Riwka?
I believe it. Excuse me?
Riwka?
Yes, Riwka. Thank you.
Amen.
All right. Thank you so much.
Love is a great mystery, and it's threaded through the universe and threaded through your life. Let love be a great stability within you, a great reach, a great arm into the universe. Let love show itself in its truest form.
Thank you. All right. Well, we're over time, so we're going to go ahead and end. Yeah. But much love to you. And Jim, you'll be back in 2 weeks?
2 weeks.
We'll see you in 2 weeks. So please
All righty.
stay safe. Keep your hair cut. You're looking very nice. Thank you for the wonderful channeling. Much love to you. We'll see you.
All
very
right. Have a
soon.
great day, everybody. Much love.
Okay. Bye, everyone. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.